Doing research on atmospheric electricity, otherwise known as ether, and I came across this thing about negative ions and waterfalls by this doctor named Dr. Noboru. He was able to use negative ions to cure cancer in mice. He gave 2 mice cancer, one of them was completely cured. Now this doctor says that these negative ions create something called cancer killer cells. He goes on to explain that humans need 700 negative ions. When you're in the forest, there's about 1,000 negative ions, and when you're next to a waterfall, there's 5,000 negative ions due to something called the Lennard effect. Now to understand this effect, you just need to simply understand an atom has a nucleus in the center and electrons going around that nucleus, and those electrons are negative. The bond that keeps the electrons going around in orbit is electromagnetic energy. Now the Lennard effect proved that when water hits itself or hits an object that's wet, which is still hitting itself, it shears the water and it destroys the bonds, putting all of the electrons on the surface of the water. And then in the air going around the water, we have oxygen molecules, and those oxygen molecules pick up that extra electron as it's going by, and it charges the oxygen molecules with negative ions. Now what happens is normally the atoms are neutral because the positive and the negative, or the electron and proton, cancel each other out. And when you have negative ions in the air, you have atoms that have an extra electron which are negatively charged. Now when an atom is a free radical and it's missing that electron, it's unstable and it'll grab another atom's electron, making cells clump together, creating literally tumors and cancer. Now when you eat antioxidant foods, those have extra electrons and it fills that missing electron gap. Now this, I had no idea, but these waterfalls put electrons in the air, which literally makes the air antioxidant, which starts to do the same thing antioxidant food does, but in the air. Also, these negative ions in the air literally change your blood from acidic to alkaline, which is what everybody's trying to do by drinking the alkaline water, which doesn't work. Now I got deep into these studies. I even found studies that cited this study and talked about textiles that were made from the forest that when they rub on you, they create negative ions. Plants also create negative ions. Now, EMFs or cell phone or Wi-Fi radio frequency radiation literally creates free radicals, which is what causes cancer. Now, I created a couple different prototypes here, and all I'm doing is smashing water together and blowing air through it to just try to get those negative ions. It's a pretty simple but powerful concept that you can do at home. I based my model off an ozone generator that uses a corona discharge method, which basically creates ozone but also negative ions, but this is doing it with 100% natural water, which is what you want.